Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm still on my great trip to Scotland, and we're here in Perth. Now, why Perth? Because there's a place called the Perth Museum, and we're here with Mark Hall, who's the collections officer for the museum. And there's a really special reason why this is such an important museum, and we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Mark, first of all, great to meet you here.
You too, James. Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you and so we've been looking around here, and we have amazing artifacts. We have artifact stones from the Picts, which were the Scottish tribes that lived before a long time ago, back before Christ, right?
After Christ.
They were after Christ. All right, I got to get my history.
So you think of Christ, Romans, Picts. In that order.
Let's get to the big attraction here, which is the Stone of Destiny. And this is really the centerpiece of this museum, also called the Stone of Scone. And talk a little, what is the stone? And I almost said sword. It is the Stone of Destiny. And what exactly is that?
Well, it's a fabulously important kind of relic of Scotland's medieval and later past, in fact. And it's a block of sandstone that comes from a quarry in the Scone area, and certainly since the 13th century has been used initially as an object by which kings were made in Scotland. At that time, they were called inaugurated. Okay. And then it was taken by the English after the first wars of independence.
As they tended to do, right?
They tended to do. In 1296, Edward I hopped off with it back to Westminster, where shortly afterwards it was placed in a grand chair, which became known as the coronation chair, but was actually a chair done to hold the stone as part of the shrine around the tomb of St. Edward the Confessor. And in England, it was used for coronations. The important distinction was that the English kings at that time had the right to use a special holy oil blessed by the Pope, who was next person to God in those days. And Scotland didn't get that right until the 14th century.
Actually, so actually this, and it to this day, it's still used in coronations. We just had it used with Charles III, right?
Absolutely. It's been used in almost, if not quite, every coronation since Edward II. Oliver Cromwell, for example, although he used it, he wasn't crowned king because they didn't believe in that. He believed in a different form of autocracy, but he still sat on it in Westminster Hall when he was made Lord Protector of England.
So it is significance throughout this day. And all right, so it's been down in Westminster or down that area for a while, but when did it return here to Perth?
To Perth, it returned just this year. It's been here, well, give or take a month, I suppose. Before that, it was in Edinburgh. It came back to Edinburgh Castle in 1996 and has been on display since then in the castle until it went down to London last year for Charles's coronation.
And they had to wait a while to do that because his mother, Queen Elizabeth, was on the throne for like 64 years.
A long reign, yeah. Probably our longest. I think even longer than Victoria.
I think it was longer than Victoria. But Victoria also, you probably used the stone as well, right?
Yeah, she would have sat on the chair with the stone beneath her as all monarchs before and after her.
Now, you do a great presentation here. It's actually well protected. You're not allowed to take photographs. You come in, they give a great audio-visual presentation of what the stone is. And I said it's actually the Stone of Scone, I should say, and the Stone of Destiny. But then you go in and you actually see the stone, and no photographs, but it is really it's very interesting. Now, that's not just what this museum is all about, though. Tell us a little bit about the other parts of the museum. We talked a little bit about the Picts, but what are the other things in this museum that people should look for?
So the stone has a special two chambers all to itself, but it's set in almost the physical heart of the building, and the rest of the displays give people the context of the history and archaeology of Perthshire and Kinrossshire, the last 12,000 years basically, since the ice melted and man moved back in.
No, it is a very interesting, very spread across a wide number of centuries about all what is all this history of this area, and it is really one of the great things to do here in Perth, right?
It is now, yes, and we've had thousands of visitors since we opened just 3 weeks ago, so it's been a fantastic success, and I hope it carries on. But there are such fantastic treasures here to come and see.
No, actually, and we're looking at one right here, which is a boat that dates from how long ago?
It's 3,000 years old, so
only 3,000 years old.
It's 1000 BC, and it's an oak log boat, 30-foot long. It's damaged a little bit at the front because it lay in the River Tay for many centuries, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition.
Yeah, so we could go use this on the river a little later.
I wouldn't recommend it because it's in 3 pieces. So
well, that's not going to work very well for us. I don't think so. Unless we better know how to swim.
In fact, we suspect that in the Bronze Age, actually, they realised after they used it for a while, they hadn't picked the best piece of wood to make it from. It had an inherent fault, and so we think it was probably just abandoned, which is why it survived.
That's why it's here. Yeah. But you see that kind of artifacts. You see stuff from fashions in the 20s and 30s. You see incredible nature upstairs surrounding the area. It's not just about the stone, right?
No, it isn't. It's really about, as I say, that whole 12,000 year period of time which has gone by in this area, and it gives people an insight into how people have lived in the various different times and communities.
We're really in the heart of Scotland right here. We're in the
yeah, we are. I mean, people, but certainly these days people like to talk of Perth as the geographic heart of Scotland. I mean, I'm not sure how you kind of determine that, but it sounds great.
It does sound great. They said use that. That.
Yeah. But we've got the Picts as well.
We got the Picts. That's important.
This sculpture here behind us is some of the most important sculpture from Scotland, which tells us about the Pictish peoples and their absolute mastery of the medium of stone carving. Mm-hmm.
So you got more stones here that are from the Picts, and you got a whole lot of other things here in this museum. Now, we go out to about 125,000 travel advisors who are going to be booking their clients to Scotland. Anything you want to say to them about the importance of this museum, importance of visiting Perth?
This should be number one on your itinerary, and get booking now before all the places have gone.
Yeah, well, you have to get a place in line for the stone. That was lucky. I kind of got a little help on that. With that, but I was able to go in it. Mark, I want to thank you for taking the time. And do you know the URL for the museum, or where can they go to get more information about it?
Well, primarily there's the website, which gives people lots of supporting information about the collections and other people to contact, but we also have a social media profile, so you can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and X or Twitter, whatever it is.
So just to clarify, it's www.perthmuseum.co.uk is the website, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's great. So go to that website and you'll find out all about the museum. And again, send your clients here. Wonderful place to go get the history of Scotland and the current history of Scotland and England combined, because it really did have a role just a few months ago in the coronation of King Charles III. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.